Our top story this morning, regional leaders in Southeast Asia, as well as South Korea, the US, China and Japan, have urged North Korea to abandon its nuclear and missile programs. Members of the East Asia Summit, who gathered in Laos on Thursday, said Pyongyang had to dismantle the programs in a complete, verifiable and irreversible manner. Song Ji-son reports from Laos.
Leaders at the East Asia Summit adopted a joint non-proliferation statement condemning North Korea's continued nuclear provocations. 18 member nations urged North Korea to abandon its nuclear and ballistic missile programs in a complete, verifiable and irreversible manner, expressing grave concern over Pyongyang's nuclear tests and ballistic missile launches. The EAS called on Pyongyang to abide by its international obligations and the UN Security Council resolutions.
The statement is the first of its kind for the EAS to adopt, and it specifically indicates North Korea to abandon its nuclear and missile programs. The statement is evaluated as having contributed greatly to sending a stern message by the international community to Pyongyang.
The statement also called for joint efforts to resume the stalled six-party talks on the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula at an early date. In her speech at the East Asia Summit, President Park Geun-hye stressed the gravity of North Korean threats, saying it's a matter of life and death for South Korea, and if the international community fails to curb Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions, there will come a day when the world will regret it. The South Korean leader also asked her counterparts to set a watertight environment from which Pyongyang has no other option but change by closing loopholes in international sanctions in order to achieve a more thorough implementation of them. Likely referring to the deployment of the U.S. missile defense system THAAD to the Korean peninsula, Park said it's the least South Korea must do to defend itself, as the root of the issue is North Korean threats. President Park wraps up at the multilateral summit on Thursday and begins her bilateral schedule with the host country Laos, which includes a summit on Friday. Park will ask for greater international cooperation from this year's ASEAN chair in pressing North Korea on its nuclear threats while seeking to reinforce bilateral cooperation in a mutually beneficial way. Song Ji-son, Arirang News, VNTN.